What's going on? This is the man of the hour, Leo Rush, and you are now listening to Mac Madness Podcast.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of any age, this is your host for the evening, Mr. Ek2Fly, Eric Trumbicki. I am here with my best friend, Mr. Aaron Beckett. ATM Lloyd, at the moment Lloyd, all things moving.
Thank you, mamas.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, for the people listening at home, this is the 2022 AEW Revolution preview show with a whole mix of a lot of whatever. Hot topic. We're going to start this off before we preview Revolution, because get myself and my best friend's thoughts on Tony Khan just purchased Ring of Honor. Any immediate thoughts from that, Aaron? And I guess in a positive theory, what do you see happening with this?
Well, I read the press release, and it basically talks about intellectual property and video library and things along that nature. But also remember, ROH did release all their superstars. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Tony Khan will use ROH as possibly a separate brand for opposite of AEW possibly, and hopefully it looks better than 1999 VHS tapes at this point. But and there's a rumor going around that they'll finally be streaming on HBO Max, so that you might get that ROH library and AEW library on HBO Max, which I've been waiting for, because everything else on TNT or TBS ends up on HBO Max anyway. So I've been waiting for AEW to potentially get on HBO Max for a streaming platform. But it's interesting to see, because like I said, ROH, they released all their guys at the beginning of the year. You have Deonna Purrazzo as the ROH women's champion on Impact. So I'm not sure what happened with that title. Will she just magically just get rid of it? And then also the titles, there are no champions. Oh, they actually are champions. Who's the ROH champion? Oh, Jonathan Gresham is the ROH champion, I believe. Or is he the pure champion?
Yes and no. He is the original ROH world champion. He was supposed to have a match. He was supposed to challenge Bandito in the final ROH show. Bandito had COVID, so he went out and challenged Jay Lethal for the vacant interim ROH title, and they gave the original title, the one Punk held, Joe held, Brian held. Bandito, they are still acknowledging that championship that Cody debuted and he lost to Jay Lethal. That world title is still active. Bandito is actually defending that on the Indies. Jonathan Gresham is avidly defending the Ring of Honor world title. He's doing it in his own promotion. He's been defending it in Impact. So these titles, I'm not sure who the pure champion is. I believe it was a younger guy. I'm not familiar with him, but that title's still out there. Obviously, Deonna recently just won that title, and the big hot topic, everyone's been waiting for the Briscoes to show up in AEW. They're still the Ring of Honor tag champs. So we're going to see Ring of Honor tag champs versus the AAA tag champs in AEW. I think that's the optimistic hot point of something we're going to see. And Tony's got a working relationship with Impact, so I think Deonna's still going to be working that title.
Yeah, because no doubt they could actually come in, whether they agree to terms with the new ROH and /AEW is to be seen. But I'm pretty sure you can come in, agree to terms for one match and drop the titles if need be. But like I said, the video library, we talked about this a few months ago when ROH was going to go under, and about how important the video library was to either company. AEW needed it way more, so they can actually potentially start a streaming platform. And a lot of that stuff is things that I've never seen, and a lot of things that a lot of people haven't seen. And everybody talks about ROH has always been like this little indie that could, and they always chugged along. They have a lot of the biggest memories in wrestling. So hopefully, pretty soon that we can all get ROH on the streaming platform and get to see a lot of things that we haven't seen before.
Hell yeah, and I'm sure we got a lot of listeners that I know definitely want to relive a lot of that stuff in Ring of Honor's glory days. So, but speaking of, I didn't mention, but The Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles, they're also out there. I'm not sure who's holding them, but the best prepper friends, Josh Preppergina, Balo After Dark, and myself. Oh man, we're here to challenge.
Yeah, I gotta find a spot for those in my little makeshift recording area.
So, so I'm excited. I'm happy for it. And kind of one thing you did kind of dance over. If Tony is smart enough and genius enough, and he figures a way to utilize this as a separate brand, AEW's roster, I'm sure he's been working this deal for a little while. So maybe that's why he kept stacking talent, because people always talk about, man, imagine in 01 if Vince kept WCW as a secondary brand and you could have been, he could have been controlling both. I mean, if Tony Khan can bring his bank up to Ring of Honor and make it, something that's traveling and better, and it's not going to have 500 people in the crowd, it's going to have 5,000. There's a lot of optimistic things that potentially can come out of this. I really look forward to seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that too is that was the original idea about, instead of the Invasion, WCW is supposed to be its own separate brand and have one of the weekly shows. I'm not sure if it was going to be Raw or SmackDown, but they definitely were going to have their own weekly show. Actually, I think it was actually going to air like on Saturday, like at a real late time. Bruce Prichard talks a lot about it, but it quickly failed from the whole Booker T, Buff Bagwell debacle. But that was the original plan. So, like I said, like they have AEW, they have plenty of talent, and we always say like they keep signing people, and it's like, what do they keep signing people for? Because it's basically become formulaic. You come in, you get this cheer, and then you end up God knows where. And Jay Lethal is a former ROH guy. You have him out there, but you have plenty of talent to actually stack up a ROH roster. And if you want to incorporate some type of a brand split.
For sure. I'm definitely, again, looking forward to seeing it. Speaking of signing, speaking of free talent, before we get into Revolution, one last thought. Somebody we've touted on this show since the inception of Matt Madness, Cesaro, released from WWE. Your thoughts, your predictions, your hopes.
Well, he wasn't released. They couldn't agree to terms. But as you know how I take these things, what else could Cesaro do other than win the world title? He had a great run. He's kind of one of those guys that will go down as underrated in WWE history, especially like the way we talked about Kane and X-Pac on these shows as like guys that are just like guys you could just throw in anything and make it work. Tag team specifically, Cesaro, excellent tag team competitor. Everything Cesaro did in a tag team actually worked. He was a great person to utilize in that way. Like he had with Sheamus, Tyson Kidd. That was my favorite combination as a tag team with him. Don't forget he teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura and then Cassius.
Very forgettable.
It is. Everything in tag team division WWE is forgettable. But he definitely a great guy. He, a lot of stop and
the best thing he did in his whole career.
Yeah, a lot of stop and starts with Cesaro. Some of my highlights, one of my favorite Cesaro highlights is when he did challenge John Cena in the U.S. Open Challenge. I think it was like 2 times on Raw. I think those were big performances from him. But like I said, he kind of got the short end of the stick. He had the whole Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal thing, and then he put him with Heyman, and that didn't work. And then the tag team with Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd got hurt. He had a little feud with Owens, and he put him in the bar. A lot of stop and starts with him, but he was definitely a great talent. He definitely put on amazing performances. And as far as fantasy booking, I don't want him in AEW because we see how AEW has been, but now we have this potentially another brand with ROH/AEW, which he'll actually kind of fit. If I had to pick a place, I'll say he probably works best in Impact if I want to see him on television. But I think the best fit for him might just be Japan for his style.
Optimistically, I'd love to see him a little bit of everywhere. I would love for him to debut in NWA, do some indies, touch Impact, do some New Japan, and a year from now, get an AEW when kind of everything settles down. Obviously, I want to see him there at some point. I mean, as we're about to get into previewing the show, as we preview it, there's obviously a lot of former WWE guys we'll talk about. So a lot of them are at focal points in the card. So I hope Cesaro can at some point find his place there. definitely, it's crazy to think it's been over a decade since he's been a singles champion. His one and only run with the U.S. title. And definitely my favorite thing he did was his multiple tag title runs with Sheamus and The Bar. We saw some amazing in-ring work plus some funny promos. So, best out to Cesaro. But getting into Revolution, and I guarantee you don't know this, but between I'm sure they're going to have their pre-show, the buy-in. This is an 11-match card.
Yikes.
So, again, they only do 4 pay-per-views. So, compared to the 13 or more WWE does a year, a large card is typically justified. I'm going to try to work it, previewing it from bottom up. Kind of what my 2 matches that I'm predicting are going to be for the buy-in. Maybe there's going to be even more. First off, we got Layla Hirsch challenging Chris Statlander. They got a little bit of a feud that's kind of been in and out all over the company. Any thoughts on this? Any prediction?
I think it'll be Chris Statlander. She has to get back up there. I think it's Chris Statlander. I don't have much to say on this one at all.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Chris Statlander as well. The company's definitely got more stock in her. They did tonight on Dynamite have a little promo to hype this up. Again, this may be 2 or 3 matches for the buy-in. This, I'm going to assume, is going to be in there. We got QT Marshall going up against his former student, Hook.
Oh, Hook. Get QT Marshall the fuck out of here. Bye. It's not even a question.
Cold-hearted, handsome devil.
Get him out of here.
Obviously, I'm looking forward, whether it is the buy-in or not, let's keep in mind, Hook's matches have been all on Rampage. He hasn't been seen on Dynamite in the ring yet. So this is kind of big. It's kind of a big deal for him. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. Definitely should be a fun one. Jumping around, 2 matches that have had some storyline and some build to it. One, we have the first ever Trios Tornado tag match. We have Sting teaming up with his buddy Darby Allin and the current TNT champion, Sammy Guevara. I'm assuming Sammy will still be TNT champion, but he is defending the title in a triple threat match on Rampage. It'll air on Friday, but that's also going to have Darby Allin and I believe Matt Hardy in it. Now they're going to be challenging 3 members of the AHFO, the Andrade Hardy family order.
Oh, so that is a thing, because I keep seeing them together, and at this point, I don't know what's going on with Matt Hardy and the Private Party. And
He paid off Matt to basically own part of the faction. So because Matt has Butcher, Blade, Bunny, and Private Party, when they get any booking, Matt is getting a percentage of the money. So Andrade gave Matt a large lump sum, so he is now getting he's splitting the cut that Matt gets from anything those 5 members of the team does. So Isaiah Cassidy teaming up with his wrestling daddy, Matt Hardy, and Andrade. 6-man tag. Obviously doesn't seem like you got a whole lot of the story for this, but any thoughts on the prediction?
When I saw this, I thought it was strange. I was like, okay, but I'm going to go with Sting, Darby, and Sammy Guevara.
So, now again, just that, prior to the preview starting for Revolution, you're mentioning the kind of WWE treatment. I do like, and mainly Rampage has been getting a lot of the stuff going on with the TNT title. Andrade just challenged for it recently. So I do think Andrade or Matt, and I could be wrong, but I would love it to be either one of these guys. I think one of them are slated to be the next TNT champion. I love it. 2 former WWE guys that were definitely poorly used towards the latter part of their WWE run. Neither of them have a large accolade in AEW. Would be great to see them win this title. Obviously, as a fan of Matt Hardy, you, a larger Matt Hardy fan than me, I'm sure you'd love to see him with some singles gold in AEW. So, nobody, there really hasn't been like any short title reigns in AEW. I think either one of these guys are great to get that accolade, and it could still just be like a 3-week bit, and the title could bounce around. But moving on from that, actually, I'm sorry. You got any prediction on the result to this?
Yeah, I said Darby, Sting, and Sammy.
I'm gonna go the opposite way. You did mention that. Sorry, I'm going with the AHFO just to get their wins up. Andrade didn't win the TNT title. He lost in that hardcore match with Cody. I think they need to get some W's, so I'm going with the AHFO in this match. Now another match that's pretty interesting is Bryan Danielson came out a couple weeks ago, cut a promo on Jon Moxley where you figured he'd be challenging him, but he actually said he wants to team with him. Jon Moxley says, I don't fight beside anyone until I bleed with them. They had a nice little promo tonight after the announcement came out. Tony Khan bought ROH. One of the first main event matches was Bryan Danielson versus Christopher Daniels. So we got that match. After the match, Bryan Danielson stomping his head. Moxley comes out. The match is going down. I expect this to be really good. I'm not really sure if this is going to be one of those matches that's going to end, and then are we going to see the feud continuing? I would love to see these guys tag. I'm going to go with Jon Moxley getting his first singles win ever over Bryan Danielson is my prediction. But from what you've seen of this, what's your interest like, and what is your prediction?
As much as I'm not a Moxley guy, this is my most anticipated match on the card. I like what's going on because we talked about this the last few weeks about how Bryan came in from a different perspective, actually touting for Jon Moxley and trying to make a better AEW and kind of trying to get a lot of the gimmicks out of there and actually get the guys that are actually like shooters and brawlers out there as to run the show. So I really am looking forward to it. And I do like the whole tagline of what did he say? I join people. What did he say? I have to bleed with you to believe in you. So,
he said to stand with you, I have to bleed.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have to bleed with you.
Okay, yeah. So that line right there, I thought it was great, and the fact that Bryan has been relentless in recruiting him to try to join him. So I do expect Moxley to win this match, and then potentially, I believe Moxley will end up eventually turning heel and joining Bryan Danielson.
I love it, and I hope that is what happens. I'm still a little taken back that this is the match that you're the most hyped for. This is what you're looking the most forward. Okay. Again, still surprised, but I'm gonna do a little women's division shatter. We got two women. We got both women's titles being defended. Both singles titles. Yes.
Okay, I didn't know the TBS was on the line.
The TBS title, Jade Cargill has been doing these open challenges. She's currently 28-0, and she's defending against Ty Conti.
Okay, I did see this. I actually did see this.
Thoughts and prediction?
Jade Cargill.
She's got to keep rocking. I can't wait to meet up with you so I can get my tie figure. But Jade's going to keep rocking. She's retaining the TBS title. It looks too good on her. Love the new green do. She heard green my favorite color, and she said, let me dye this real quick. But also, Thunder Rosa challenging Britt Baker in a rematch from one of the best matches of 2021 for the AEW Women's title. One of the greatest. This is the greatest women's feud in AEW history. Before I get your prediction, I'm gonna give my thoughts. Thunder Rosa wins. She's gonna be the new women's title, new women's champion by the time we are back on this show next week.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I do think Thunder Rosa is going to win. And we talked about this when Britt Baker won the title last year at Double or Nothing, that this story is kind of built up for Thunder Rosa because that unsanctioned match was one of Britt Baker's only losses on her record. But it technically didn't count because it was unsanctioned. So they've been kind of telling this story and prolonging it until now, for Thunder Rosa to actually finally get her championship match. And Britt Baker, as hot as she was in 2021, she's kind of cooled off a lot, but a lot of it is also due to, I don't think anybody has been on that level in the division other than Jade Cargill for her to face, and she hasn't really fought. I don't think she's even interacted with Jade Cargill yet. So Thunder Rosa was the story to go back to because of the unsanctioned match and the Lights Out match. As much as I hate contract signings, I did enjoy this, how Britt said, even though you won the Lights Out match, everybody talked about me. I'm the one with the action figure. I'm the one with the shirt. I did enjoy that, but I do think Thunder Rosa is going to end up winning the women's title.
Okay. Do got to disagree with you a little bit. In my opinion, Britt hasn't lost much steam. She's still over as hell when she comes out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't see her in the ring much. She had She had John Kreese from
Yes,
Cobra Kai
I popped.
there.
I popped.
I mean, like that was amazing.
In character. So good.
She has so many people on social media when they bring people in, and like I check their social media. It's like I'm like, wow, are they hardcore wrestling fans? I'm like, no, they follow Britt Baker, the AEW account, and nobody else. They're not following CM Punk. They're not following the Young Bucks. They're not following Cody or Brandy. Like, they're following Britt Baker, and that's it. But also, just so you're aware, because I don't know how much the backstage gets, when Jade won the TBS title, she had some assistance from Mercedes Martinez.
Okay.
And there was a segment in the back in between Jade and Mercedes, and Britt comes and says, don't forget where that money actually came from. I paid you. So it kind of did wrap in all three of them. You had Mercedes Martinez,
Okay.
Britt and her crew, and Jade. So it was a little teaser. Wasn't nothing really going with it, but it was cool to see a little interaction because it is something where obviously, you know, any smart mark, no pun intended, is going to be like, okay, well, you're not going to see two heels go at each other. You're not going to, you know, both women's champions being heels. So there's really been no reason for them to butt head.
Yeah.
But again, I'm really looking forward to this. And also, the one thing, and there's a small chance I'm wrong on this, but that lights out match, when that happened, I don't even think Thunder Rosa was even signed to AEW at the time.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, she still may have even been NW. I don't know. She might have still been NWA.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was NWA. And the whole thing of me saying Britt's losing steam, it's not really indicative on her. She can only do what she's she can only be as good as what she's given. It's talking about the level of people she had to work with. Like, do we enjoy Ty Conti? Yes, but we already know Ty Conti isn't like the best on the mic or whatever. Who else has she faced? I think it was Chris Statlander at a certain point for the women's title. Not quite there. Not a lot to grasp onto. Not a lot of, like, Britt Baker. She probably has had some of the best Savage moments that we've seen all of 2021. Definitely, but ever since she won the title, her rise, she's kind of fell down to another level. But because the AEW Women's Division isn't quite as strong, but this Thunder Rosa thing was always something that you could actually go right back to, and that's what we've all been waiting for.
And the cool thing is, while they were separate, the two of them, all they did was lift up other ends of the women's division. So definitely going to be something to look forward to. Don't know if you call it her hardcore match, Thunder Rosa's hardcore match with Mercedes Martinez when she wore the Kill Bill getup, but toyetic AF. I already thought she had some great gear. I mean, you know, some of the green gear she's worn. First off, the half face paint, but that I can't wait. Sign me up.
We got reveals this week, so you'll see.
They ain't coming soon enough. So we both are in agreement that Jade Cargill's going to retain for the TBS title. The women's title, we see a change of hands. Thunder Rosa taking the title. Now, I'm going to skip around here. I'm going to keep it title friendly. We got a triple threat match for the AEW World Tag titles. We had, which I thought was very fun, past 2 weeks, we had number one contenders to figure out the second and third team for the match, the two challengers. Last week we had a traditional battle royal where we had a dozen plus teams in the ring, ring the bell, they went at it. Red Dragon came out as the winners. Kyle O'Reilly had a little turn, so they say, or Matt Jackson. And then this week they went back to AEW rules where it was kind of Royal Rumble-esque. You had two teams in the ring, Top Flight, FTR, Top Flight back together. The one brother is back from his injury. Several other teams come out. Young Bucks go over as the winner. So it's going to be Young Bucks, Friends of Adam Cole versus Red Dragon, Friends of Adam Cole versus the most forgettable AEW
I really did forget they were tag champions.
It is so easy to forget. I'm not anti these guys. I like Jungle Boy, Jurassic, Jungle Sword, or what?
Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus.
Exactly. Luchasaurus.
Now you know what I think about it. The title reign's over. It's going to be the worst AEW tag title reign. I see the title changing hands. It makes sense for Red Dragon to win. We both forgot Jurassic Express were the tag champions. What's your thoughts going into this match?
Which, like you said, Jurassic Express, I do like them. I'm a big Jungle Boy mark. I love his dad for all those years growing up. But I honestly forgot they were even the tag champions at this point. I kind of think they'll win because Red Dragon and the Bucks, they have their own thing going on. I think that'll actually run its course and interfere with the goal to win the match. So I'm gonna go with Jurassic Express to retain. And is Christian still with them?
Well, great thing. So we both gave our thoughts. You see Jurassic Express retaining the titles. I'm going Red Dragon. Christian's, yes, he's still good buddies with the Jurassic Express. He's still running around hanging with them. He has not had a singles match.
I remember. I've seen this.
Since he's won the Impact title, which he has lost. Interesting I bring that up. I'm going to move on to the next match. We have the ladder match, the Face of the Revolution, where the winner gets a TNT Championship match. Spoiler alert for my opinion. Whoever the hell wins this match, whether it is my prediction or not, I hope they go on and win the damn match. Because this isn't like Money in the Bank rules, but people are challenging for the TNT title 3 times a month. So if you're going to kill yourself in a ladder match, you better go win that belt. That's just my thoughts. So at the moment, we know 5 of the contestants. We have Wardlow. Who knows? Babyface Wardlow? Heel Wardlow? I don't know. You don't know. We'll find out. Wardlow versus new AEW signee, Keith Lee. But you know how they treat guys from WWE. Keith Lee versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Love Powerhouse Hobbs. Versus Orange Cassidy. Not really fitting the mold with the other couple names that we already put in here. But also, Team Taz member, the FTW champion, Ricky Starks. So you got 2 smaller guys in Orange Cassidy and Ricky Starks amongst 3 monsters with Hobbs, Keith Lee, and Wardlow. On Rampage, there is going to be a match between All Ego, Ethan Page, and Christian. The winner of this match gets added. I feel like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky should both be in this match. Scorpio Sky has won this match in the past. My gut tells me there's no way Ethan Page doesn't win, but I don't know. I feel like this match needs more babyface power, so I hope Christian wins. Maybe it's going to be a really short match. Maybe he's hurt again. Hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, I want Christian to win, but I'm going to be realistic because this is the show. All Ego beats him, and then he's in the ladder match and doesn't win. Firstly, we got a match on Rampage. Who do you think gets added to this ladder match?
Probably Ethan Page.
Okay. Now, you know the 6 competitors, unless there's some crazy way we get a debut. Cesaro shows up as number 7. Just kidding. We got the 6 guys that potentially could be in this, 7 guys that could potentially be in this. But who do you see winning the ladder match?
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee?
Yeah.
Keith Lee's been wrestling for over a decade and a half. This is going to be his first ladder match. You think he wins it on Sunday?
Yep. Keith Lee.
Okay. All right. I am going to go, man. I'd love to see Wardlow. Who else is champ? I'm gonna go Hobbs.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Hobbs. I don't think nobody's gonna see it coming. It wouldn't make sense for Ricky to go for 2 belts. I feel like we don't see him competing. I feel like he's a big guy that they built in that company, and he's an AEW guy. So that's gonna be my prediction. We just gave our thoughts on that ladder match, and we got 3 more big matches. Now, all 3 of these matches, I love Jon Moxley. But I'm looking forward to all 3 of these matches more than I'm looking forward to him versus Daniel Bryan, because at the end of the match, we're going to see Daniel Bryan and Jon Moxley potentially team together, or we're going to see a repeat of the match. Either way, the match I might be looking the most forward to is Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. And have you been seeing any of their promo work?
Yeah, I watched the promo from last week.
Promo from last week was God-given.
It was great.
All right, so I'm gonna say this is Jericho doing the favors. I'm gonna say Chris Jericho loses to Eddie Kingston. I think we're gonna see, it's the play on him not winning the big one to The Rock in 01. Unfortunately, my prediction is gonna be Proud and Powerful came and dapped up Jericho and had no words. So I think he thinks they're going to be with him and they're going to come and screw him during the match. Unfortunately, is how I see this going down.
Really? Huh. That's actually not a bad take at all. But I am going with Eddie Kingston to win. I did enjoy that promo. It was like 10 minutes of death. I'm not. it was so great. Like the constant back and forth, the personal shots, and Kingston talking about which kind of Jericho that he actually wants in this match. Yeah, Eddie Kingston, like, great on the mic. We all know. I don't know if you care for him much in the ring. Jericho at this point, he's...
Dude, HOH alumni. Are you kidding? Ain't someone from HOH I don't appreciate.
Jericho is going to be what it is at this point, but I'm definitely looking forward to this match as well. Not to the level of Mox and Brian, but I think the story is actually there. And for me to be invested is definitely... needs to be more story driven, but this is definitely there, especially after just the interaction from last week. I'm not sure if they had an interaction this week, but I'm looking forward to this match.
Yeah, no interaction. Eddie wasn't on Dynamite.
Okay.
He just had Jericho cut a promo hyping it up. Basically, he just restated. It was like, in the back being interviewed. He basically restated his thoughts about, if you win, I'll respect you, I'll shake your hand, blah, 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 blah. That's when Proud and Powerful pulled up on him. Speaking of HOH, speaking of matches I'm very interested in, we got a dog collar match. We got MJF versus CM Punk. Now, since you didn't catch Dynamite tonight, one thing I remember, I don't know if you remember the Joey Matthews and Tommy Dreamer angle we saw at HOH.
Yeah.
Remember Tommy Dreamer came out in a white shirt?
Yeah, I saw the white. I'm aware of what happened. I didn't see the whole thing, but I'm aware of what happened.
So, Punk, accepts a hug from MJF and embraces him and says, he apologizes for leaving him years ago. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, MJF got a full white suit on. Does he wear white crew neck t-shirts on often? Like, what is going on? Like, I was thinking about Joe Laff, because Joe Laff, like, many, many moons ago, had a flannel shirt on and a fresh white tee on underneath, and he says, "Oh, you gotta switch to V-necks." I'm like, "I wear V-necks underneath dress shirts. This is a flannel." I'm sitting there, I'm like, something's going on. So MJF is wearing a T-shirt with the picture of him and CM Punk on it. He gets blood all over his suit, blood all over the shirt. Pinnacle comes out. They beat the crap out of him. This match is gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
CM Punk has only lost to MJF. So I'm going to assume CM Punk is going to beat MJF. And one of the highlights of the night, Wardlow is finally going to turn babyface and he's going to help Punk.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree that Wardlow was going to help Punk, but I was late to the party on what was going on. Like I saw the picture, like Punk holding up the picture, and I saw MJF shout out the Wrestling Classic last week, and like I never sat down and watched it. So when I finally watched it today, I was like, oh my god, like. They brought reality to it, because this is how a lot of people actually did feel about CM Punk when he did he did leave in 2014. And that's how a lot of people felt. And then him with his disabilities and how much he looked up to Punk. So they brought in the realism of it. And then the fact that Punk comes out and it's kind of like distraught. Is like, really? Is this true? Are you lying? Like, he's kind of showing sympathy for the guy. Like maybe this is actually why you really don't like me. And it brought a lot of realism to the entire thing. So I'm glad they actually went on to that, because I never would have even thought about doing that. And I thought MJF trying to garner sympathy is a little strange to me. But I thought he did actually a good job. He showed a lot of frustration he showed a lot of frustration towards CM Punk. And I'm looking forward to the match as well. Not, like I said, still not to Moxley and Bryan, but I think this is probably going to end up being the feud of the year. Everything MJF touches is gold, and then I talked about this when Punk first debuted. Top of the list is a feud with MJF, and this feud has not missed at all.
For sure, this match is going to be amazing. I showed on the show last week. I found the Unmatched Series 2 MJF in the Wild, and I was telling my 8-year-old daughter about finding this figure and how I'm excited. And she knew a few other figures I was looking for, so she says, "He's rude anyway. Why do you care?"
Gotta love it.
I said, "What?" She was like, "All he does is talk, and he's mean anyway." And I'm just sitting there dying. So while we were having dinner tonight, I saw AEW posted a picture to hype up the match, and it's similar to the death match Moxley Omega shirt, but it's a white T-shirt with a black drawing of MJF and CM Punk, and it's got the the date and the stipulation. And I just showed Valentina. I said, "Do you need this?" She's like, "Oh, I do need that." I was dying. So I'm definitely looking forward to this match. I hope it doesn't disappoint. Has full potential to be the match of the night.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's going to be great, and I've enjoyed the entire thing.
Now, speaking of matches of the night, I don't know if this will be the match of the night. I do, unfortunately, know this is not the match my best friend and I are looking the most forward to. But at the Matt Madness Wrestling Podcast, we are traditionalists. The main event is going to be for the World Championship of the pay-per-view we are previewing. We are previewing Revolution for AEW. So the AEW World title is going to be on the line. You have Adam Cole, former World Champion everywhere, the new BTE Champion, challenging Hangman Adam Page. 2 former Bullet Club members, 2 former Ring of Honor locker roommates. Thoughts on the match and prediction?
Well, first of all, I want to go back and watch the death match with him and with Page and Archer. And out of the, I'm going to use a WWE term, out of the triple main events, or the top 3 marquee matches, this is probably at the bottom for me specifically. Because, I don't know, maybe I haven't watched enough, but Hangman doesn't really seem to, feel like much of a champion or the big deal to me. I'm not sure if you feel the same way. And this Adam Cole thing, kind of, even for Adam Cole, even though he's at the top of the rankings, it just doesn't feel like the same Adam Cole to me. Like it was kind of like it was in the NXT. Just doesn't really seem to be much of a big deal as he was. And I don't know. I kind of think Adam Cole's gonna win. I think he's gonna. I kind of feel he's gonna win. Then possibly get a return of Kenny, and you get Kenny and the Bucks against Cole and Red Dragon.
So that would be great. That's got to happen at some point. You are right. Adam Page thus far has been the most lackluster world champion. The mystique hasn't been there. He's had some great defenses. They've all been bloodbaths. Now, for the listeners at home, there was a technical difficulty. Mr. Dan Johnson and I did do a phenomenal review that will never be heard of that Texas Death Match. That match is amazing. I can't wait to hear your thoughts after you actually do watch it. My prediction is going to be Adam Page retains. I can see this match getting rammed back. I think this is kind of a monumental win. He had his match against Bryan, and it went to a draw. He gave Bryan his only loss in AEW, and then he barely beat Archer. I feel like this is a big win if he can beat Adam Cole. Adam Cole doesn't have a loss on his actual record in AEW. You're right with what you're saying. Yeah, he doesn't feel like the same Adam Cole, but also he's Adam Cole. He does have the name value from being everywhere, so I don't see this actually hurting him. And I think this win is going to do way more for Adam Page than it's going to do for Adam Cole. Again, it's almost formulaic with AEW. I don't want to be mad about it, but I feel like we see Hangman retain, and then we see a return or a debut, or the Forbidden Door being open after the match.
Because I think the promos have been good, but it doesn't seem like how WWE has their world champion sometimes not the top guy, and he doesn't feel like the champion. And Adam Cole is awesome, as we always talk about, but it just doesn't really feel the same. It's kind of like at the point where, like, I just can't wait for like MJF to be champion.
I think with exactly what you're saying now, it's funny you say that. Yes, does it make sense for Omega to come back and have the title or have that feud? I don't think we need the title. I think MJF is the person to dethrone Hangman. I think that's who's eventually gonna dethrone him. But I think what we're running into right now is you are very much looking forward to Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson having this match. I can't wait to see Eddie Kingston and Jericho go at it. Everyone in the world is waiting for CM Punk and MJF to have their rematch. That's 3 matches right there that are a little more enticing than the world title match. And that is the huge difference, where when Moxley was the world champion, the most important thing was who's he defending the title against. It may not be the best match of the night, but that's what everyone was talking about. When Jericho was the world champion, he was defending on Dynamite or the show. Everyone was worried about that. When Kenny was carrying around 4 belts, what's Kenny doing? So definitely a difference, and this is definitely similar to WWE. Unfortunately, I hate to draw the comparison, but when Bobby Lashley or Big E recently held the world title, or even Drew McIntyre, the last thing you were thinking is like, oh, what are they doing? Like, there might be something more enticing on the show for you. So I'm going with Hangman Adam Page. You're going Adam Cole. Change hands. So that wraps up our preview, our predictions. I think even in the beginning of the show I called this the review. But we got done previewing Revolution for 2022 for AEW. Any other thoughts in regards to the show coming up this weekend?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to those 3 marquee matches. And then another reason I talked about having Jurassic Express retain is because I think Bryan and Mox are going to be the ones to take the tag titles from him and stop the parody in AEW. I think that'll be a part of their storyline going forward.
I would love that. If that goes forward, that'd be awesome. I don't want to wait 3 months for the quarterly pay-per-view. Give me that on Dynamite in like 2 weeks or the following week. I love it. So outside of that, only other news I can think of, we did just get a U.S. title change in WWE. Finn Balor just defeated Damian Priest. Any thoughts?
No, good for Finn. King Coley thinks he's me.
I love it. Talk to me, baby. We recorded on Wednesday. Title Tuesday was yesterday.
Yeah, Finn Balor's U.S. champion. Good for him, I guess. It is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully that actually amounts to something. But.
Yeah. We are going to get Edge and AJ at WrestleMania officially. I'm looking forward to that.
You looking forward to Edge being booked as a heel? Is
it
necessary?
I think it's necessary, definitely, because AJ Styles, from an in-ring perspective, the best AJ Styles is a face AJ Styles, and Edge, the best Edge is a heel Edge. So I think it's going to work, and I think it's definitely going to be the match of the night at WrestleMania.
Quick question. I might watch this immediately when we're done recording. I've seen the match before. I've seen it only once. Actually, you're going to need to tell me which Mania it is. Angle, Michaels. What Mania?
21. We reviewed it. I'm not sure if you want to show when we reviewed it, but we did review that years ago.
Who is the heel? Angle, or were they both face?
And it'll be Angle, because it was an interpromotional match. And it was Angle, because that was the Angle who did the sexy Kurt.
Okay, true. So was that just booked as like a fantasy dream match, or was there actually like
during the original brand split, oftentimes they did interpromotional matches, and that was the interpromotional match. And in 2005, Shawn Michaels eliminated Kurt Angle from the Royal Rumble, so that built to their match at WrestleMania.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. It definitely should be a good and exciting match. And I hope it is similar to like Michaels had that. Now, obviously, I know we're saying Angle was the heel in this, but Michaels had that like charm where he could be like a heel for a week and then be back to be babyface.
Yeah, Edge has
I hope
that.
it's kind of that thing. I hope Edge runs this, and then I hope he's right back to being a babyface.
Yeah, Edge can do that.
Sweet. So yeah, in the next couple of weeks, we have a month out until Mania. We'll be giving that some more chatter. Before we wrap up, any new merch? I know you just mentioned some figures before we were on air that are in your chopping block coming up.
Yeah,
Anything new? Oh, you got Wardlow today.
Yeah, I found a Wardlow, and if you're in the Major Pod group, my purge is coming. So that's coming. As far as things I watched, I got suckered into watching Carmella and Corey Graves reality show on a YouTube channel. I love those two. I think they're funny, but it's not for me. And also,
it's got to be bad if it ain't for you.
And I also, a couple weeks ago, I finished Peacemaker. Great fucking show. I recommend it to everybody. The Peacemaker season finale, fantastic show. Right.
Raul was hyping that up for me. He was saying I need to watch it.
It's so good. It is amazing. So I watched that, and I'm not sure if you saw, but Bubba Ray is going to be on Broken Skull Sessions. I'm really looking forward to that.
Can't wait. I hope we don't gotta wait till Mania for that.
I didn't see the date, but I'm really excited about that.
If God was a heel, he'd be Bully Ray.
But I think that's about it. I haven't really watched a bunch. I think that's about it. Oh, this isn't wrestling related. Have you watched the Kanye documentaries on Netflix?
We could get a podcast out of that. Have you watched it?
Yeah, I started episode 3 today.
I started episode 3 today. I had to pause it because I had to run to the barbershop. I'm about halfway through. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you caught this, but there's a O2 episode of SmackDown running in the background when they're recording All Falls Down on the first episode.
No, but I will rewatch.
Yeah, they're watching an O2 episode of SmackDown. Triple H and Hogan are in the ring.
Wow, might get a big undisputed view on it. Exciting.
Yeah, because like that whole documentary was great. I always love like the raw camera footage like that. Janet Jackson had a documentary like that recently, which I thought was really good.
Like I said, I could do a podcast about my feelings on this. This thing
is
so good.
It's so good. Like I didn't even know he was around in '98, and then like you see him like kind of like shopping around all his music. Like he had All Falls Down recorded in 2002, and people look at him like he's insane. Like they don't get it. And he's like dropping verses from all his top songs and
I love how many times he just freestyle with no beat, and it was like, a track that the world would hear 2 years later. But he's like, "This is my," and he.
Yeah, and you just like watching this. In effect, like nobody understood, or nobody gave him the time of day. You're just looking at it, and it's like, really, like you couldn't give this guy time of day. And then when he does hit, it just skyrockets. And then for me, I always love going back in time to see the fashion. And like seeing like the fashion, I love it so much. It's like, god damn.
I will say one thing also I appreciate of it is I love in the trailer, and it's from episode 1, where he says, he's like, he thought I'm crazy for calling myself a genius. Mm-hmm. I am. Now that's crazy. He's saying that in the early 2000s. Now meanwhile, people give him hell for in 2011, 2013, 2016 doing things outlandish, and
he's always been that way.
Well, to rotate the wheels real quick, let's go back to the wrestling. I'm so full of myself, and I've been hanging out with Dan too much. I did just purchase a new belt and got an EK nameplate on it. Too bad they wouldn't let me put a number 2 for the place I ordered it. Couldn't do EK25, so it's just going to be an EK until I can get a custom plate for it.
Is that the FanDuel?
I did get a FanDuel. They had a blowout sale, and one of the big old versions, it wasn't an imperfect. So the price, it just made sense. I had to get that. My major players, Super 7s, did arrive the other day. Haven't opened them yet, but I do look forward to getting into them. So we will definitely next week for our AEW Revolution review, the real review, because this was the damn preview. We're going to have some figure chatter there for sure. Some merch talk.
Yep.
So, for everybody listening at home, for everybody listening in the car, if you're listening in your shower, it's a little weird. This is 2 men talking, but whatever. No judgment. This is Balo After Dark, EK2 Fly, giving you the AEW Revolution preview. And we will see you next week. Swig a beer for the working man.